Well, the Islamic dilemma remains undefeated, boys.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that was amazing. David Wood clobbered Daniel in that debate. Daniel had no idea what he was doing. Oh boy, that was enjoyable to watch.
Pretty easy victory.
Mm.
Pretty easy victory. It was embarrassing how Daniel went off topic for a lot of his opening. When he addressed the topic, it was terrible. It was pretty bad. It was easy. It was just really easy.
Wasn't that awesome? He's like, and we have said it. David said it. Lots of us who have talked about the Islamic dilemma have said it. It is probably the best argument. It is undefeated. It is a very solid. I personally think it is the best argument, and I credit lots of these people, including David and Sam Shimon and others, for designing it and making it so powerful, more powerful. And you see how the Muslims cannot counter it. Daniel Haqiqatjou, we were wondering why in the world he would even accept such a debate topic, considering that he's not really great in discussing theology and all that. So
Yeah.
and what he did was to deviate from the topic, to start by attacking Christianity instead. And then with the second debate, he completely went off the rails. Like, it's amazing. It's a great day for. It's a very bad day for Islam, and a great day for the opponents of Islam, and a very great day for Christianity.
It was something, I'll tell you. Daniel then, he got cooked in that first debate, claimed victory as the Dawagandists like to do, and then started his second debate with his whole argument being, I will rant about the Jews for a couple hours, and this will be my argument. Because the second debate, if you don't know, they had, which less people saw, was who respects Jesus more, Christians or Muslims? And Daniel's strategy was, okay, here's my strategy, guys. All right, I'm going to point out the Jews say mean things about Jesus, and who hates the Jews more? Well, us Muslims do. So clearly, we like Jesus more because we hate people who disrespect Jesus more. Like, what an asinine argument for that is. I mean, like, if you read anything in the Gospels anywhere, like Jesus says, love your enemies. And like David did a really good job sticking to the debate topic and not going down Daniel's insane conspiracies like the communist Bolsheviks were Jews. And man, that was. Did you watch that, Avery? The second one?
I didn't watch the second one. I didn't watch it. I've heard about it though. So it's
insane. Absolutely insane. Just so you guys wonder where David is, he is going to join us in a little bit. He is driving back from Virginia today, so he said he had to take care of some things, but he's going to jump in here in a little bit, so hang tight. We're going to get the reigning champs opinion on everything that happened in there and what happened behind the scenes. AP, I thought you were supposed to be there for the debate.
I was. The thing is, I initially only planned to join for the first and second day, but eventually I was planning on joining for the entire thing and also staying there for the debate and also personally meeting and greeting Daniel Haqiqatjou and giving him some gifts and getting his autograph and stuff like that. But then I had lots of things come up, so I couldn't really stay. I had to leave early.
Tis a shame. I want to get into some of his arguments here and just point out, like, Daniel, at best, like, Daniel relied heavily on Surah 279. Like, that was his main argument, because it says, woe to those who write the scriptures with their own hands, then say this is from Allah in order to exchange it for a small price. Woe to them for what their hands have written, and woe to them for what they have earned. And this was his big argument, that the Christians have corrupted the scriptures. The only problem was if he was right, at best, he just showed the Quran is helplessly contradictory, because then it just says, like, as David pointed out, just like 6 verses later, that the Jews are supposed to use all of the Torah. You still have Surah 5 that Avery was just talking about this afternoon. I was watching a bit of your stream. Brilliant. You were doing Surah 547. At best, if Daniel's right, he just shows the Quran hopelessly contradicts itself, because Surah 2 would contradict Surah 5, Surah 7. You know what I mean?
Yep. You know what's the most awesome thing was during the second debate, which honestly, listening to it, it did make me quite angry initially. It made my blood boil, especially toward the end. It did, because I really just wanted to jump in and say something, because he did just what what somebody like him does, what an Islamist like him does. He set up a debate topic. He is the one who proposed the topic. Does Christianity or Islam respect Jesus or present Jesus more respectfully, or something like that? And then he went into it completely deviating from the topic on purpose, which he also admitted, and talking about Jews instead, in order to somehow, trick David and expose him before the audience or something like that. Is this a method that would be acceptable in like Christian morality? It wouldn't. It's not.
Yeah, nah.
Is it a method that is completely fine, completely acceptable in Islamic morality? Yes, it is. Because it is in Christianity, this kind of thinking, this kind of trickery is more likely to be associated with the devil, like with Satan, with something satanic, and he just goes for that immediately and spends 20 minutes ranting about Jews and the Talmud and all that instead of talking about the actual topic, and basically says Islam is good. Islam respects Jesus more because Jews.
Yeah, that's the guy we're dealing with. This is the one who's going to solve the Islamic dilemma, folks. Someone who can't even get basic history right. But Chris, you've been quiet. What were your thoughts on the debate overall?
The debate overall was amazing. I think David did really, really well. I think he presented the classic case for the Islamic dilemma, and Daniel kind of borrowed things from other people that I don't think he really thought about or like critically examined. And then just kind of presented it and went, there you go. General confirmation, it confirms in some weird way that no one quite understands. And that's good enough. And then David was like, no, it's not. And then he didn't really have anything other more to say. So it went really well.
I loved in David's opening, he said, now I'm going to use the same arguments that I've been using. So Daniel has a great opportunity to be very prepared and to refute everything that I have to say. And by the way, I have no idea what points he's going to bring. I have no idea in predicting what he's going to say. So he's more prepared for my argument than I am for his. I loved that. But what disappointed me is that there was no cross-examination. Why are there these debates happening without a cross, man?
Hey, did you notice as well? He was sneaky because he asked David some questions during his rebuttal. He was like, "Now, David, let me ask you a question." And I'm thinking, hang on a sec.
Yep.
Is this like a crossover boy, or is he just doing this? And from what I remember, he did it to David, but David didn't really do it to him. So I was like, it's been sneaky.
Yeah.
And then he asked another question. David was going to respond. He's like, no, you can respond to that later, not now.
Well, he tried to in his we'll get to it. I want to play that clip, but in the third rebuttal period, or the second rebuttal, technically, he starts trying to ask David questions, and I think that backfired because David actually used that time for his advantage, and it backfired for Daniel. So he immediately shut it down. Because I think he realized it wasn't going where he thought it was, and we'll play that in a bit here, for sure, because that was
the hilarious thing is, and I'm sure we're going to review it, but the hilarious part is that he demonstrated that he doesn't even understand the debate topic. He doesn't even understand the Islamic dilemma. He doesn't even know how to respond to it.
Yeah, that was funny. Somebody in the comment section said Daniel didn't know he doesn't know what the Islamic dilemma is.
Yeah,
that's what they said in the comments. I was dying.
He actually prepared for a debate, but he didn't study or even bother understanding, or just didn't understand because he is. I don't know. I don't want to say it, but because he just didn't understand the Islamic dilemma.
Yeah, I mean, the comments are just on David's side for sure. I mean, it's just, the Islamic dilemma made me leave Islam. This debate proved I wasn't wrong in doing so. This is something. I can't believe people are still listening to the guy that thinks PDF is okay. Yeah. Let's not forget that debate I had with Daniel, my debate with Daniel Haqiqatjou, he will have to deal with for the rest of his life, because it really exposed how dark his interpretation of Islam is. There will be clips from that debate he will have to deal with in 10, 20, 30 years, because
I was thinking this
so much.
Imagine if he ever, Lord willing, leaves Islam, he's going to have such a, he's so far in Islam that if he ever stepped out, to the rest of the world, he's just a guy that defended child marriage and he's like he did all these horrendous things. So man, it's gonna be hard for him.
There's only one way, man, to get that slate wiped clean, man.
Yeah, could you imagine? That'd be a powerful testimony if Daniel Haqiqatjou came out of that, converted to Christianity, and was like, guys, Islam made me defend child marriage. Look at how Jesus has redeemed me. This is that would be a powerful testimony.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what the funny thing is to me? I pointed this out yesterday as well. I reviewed part of the debate and talked about it yesterday. But during the second debate, one of his big gotcha moments was going to be, apparently he prepared these questions about Jews for David. And his number one question was, so can you say here, are Jews saved or not? And he will not say it. He will not say it because he doesn't want to anger his Jewish Zionist donors. And David just goes, there is no salvation outside, only through Jesus. So he clearly says it, and then Daniel doesn't get it, and he's like, well, see, he didn't answer the question, so he cannot say whether Jews are saved or not. And David says it again, and then he just looks.
See, this was the problem. AP is Daniel was running the Dawa script, and when David went off the script, he didn't know what to do, so he just kept following the script. There's nothing you can do when you're a Dawagandist other than just keep following the Dawa script. That's all you can do.
He did this in the first debate as well. Like he tried the same thing, but if you don't know what your opponent's position is, why on earth do you think you can do stuff like that? Because if you don't know what he's going to say, what are you doing? It's just
right.
Gotta follow that Dawa script here. So thank you, Norm. In anticipation for all the sneezing on the stream, I'd like to say bless you. So bless you too. Hit that like button. Everyone hit that like button right now. We would appreciate that. The potato chips are back in business. Is that us? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Potato.
New challenge. Every minute that you're late, double the number, and that's how many push-ups you have to do. Okay, fine. I'll do 10. You got it. I can do 60 if I wanted to. I could do 10 push-ups with Avery on my back.
That's right. He's done it before, guys.
What's the Injeel? What's the Injeel?
What's the Injeel?
That is did Daniel actually give us an explanation of what the Injeel is? Because
he didn't even mention the Injeel. He mentioned the Bible, which I thought was interesting.
But in the second debate, he brought it up. He at one point he's like, okay, you say that the Gospels teach Jesus died, was crucified, and rose. Well, no, the Injeel doesn't teach that because it aligns with Islam. Like he said that in the second debate, so he kind of like started going off on the Injeel. I'm going to try to find that here because he brought it up and he actually tried to use that as part of his argument that no, that can't be that's not what Jesus taught because that's not in the actual Injeel. And I'm like, wait a minute, how do you know it's in the Injeel? Like, what are you talking about, Daniel? Like, you don't have the Injeel. So yeah, I'm going to try to find that in the second debate because that was interesting.
He also I don't know if you saw that part, but when I had my question asked, Leaf was very good enough, kind enough to ask my question and do it in my voice at the debate, and it was Elle who delivered the question to him. But my question was about Paul's statement in Romans about Jesus being God over all, and so I had a long question along those lines asked. Daniel Haqiqatjou's response was that, well, obviously, we don't believe, those words. We don't know if those words that are attributed to Jesus are actually true or not. The question was about Romans, about Paul's statements in Romans. And he responded with, we don't know if those quotes attributed to Jesus are true or not. He doesn't understand what the New Testament is.
Here's Daniel going over the Injeel that I mentioned.
But it's not very compelling. You say that, also to keep in mind, like Jesus did not teach the crucifixion. The Injeel doesn't teach the crucifixion. The Injeel, the gospel that the Quran is confirming, as we discussed in the previous debate, is not expansive with the New Testament.
Prove it.
That clear. You asked, why is
Daniel? What is the Injeel?
What is it? Thank you for telling us what it's not, Daniel. Tell us what it is now, buddy. What is it, man? We've been asking it all over the country, all over the world now, man. Still no answer.
And I don't get, how are we supposed to judge by that if we have never had it, we don't have it, we have no evidence in the historical record it ever existed. How are we supposed to follow what Allah commands of us Christians in Surah 5 if this mysterious Injeel is just nowhere?
Yeah, that's wild.
This is so he brought that up, and it was I was like, he never really actually explained what the Injeel was. He kind of hinted in the prior debate. He said, like, yeah, it's kind of like preserved in the Bible or in the Gospels or in the New Testament, I guess. And that's why we don't disrespect the Bible. And of course, the audience erupted and started like shouting at him. Chris, you covered this on your channel a little bit today, didn't you?
What?
Yeah.
The crowd reacted?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Crowd reacted. Yeah. It was pretty amazing. I can't believe he actually turned to the audience and went, "Hey, audience, you let me know. Have you guys ever seen this?" And I'm like, what are you doing? You've gone to a Christian conference and you're asking them, "Guys, do you know of any like Muslims who may have, destroyed or did anything bad with the Bible?" I'm willing to bet the answer is no. And it's like, wait, what? It's
Genius.
I don't know why he was thinking doing this, but hey.
It was, man, he did it. It did not, let's just say it backfired for sure. I'm trying to find that one because he tried to do that. This was during the actual Q&A here. I think I'm a little bit off, but it's somewhere around here because I remember he said something like autistic, and like I was like, dude, did you really just call the audience autistic? Like,
Yeah.
He started fighting with the audience quite a few times.
Yeah, let me see if I can find this here.
And then he says, "James, I'm in a hostile environment. I'm like, I am disadvantaged."
He was a
here,
victim.
What comes before me, beina yadayha, or according to David's interpretation, what comes between my two hands. This is what Jesus is saying. I confirm it, minat Tawrat, from the Torah, right? So he's confirming the Torah, and then in the same verse he says, "Obey me." So this is the Quran explaining to someone like you or someone like David that you confirm something, but still there's another higher authority that has come to replace that. And that is exactly the authority of the Quran over the previous scripture for the reasons that are mentioned in the Quran. They have fabricated, they have distorted, they have twisted, whether textually or orally. All of these verses you have to take in context, not to have a kind of autistic understanding like, oh, Ba'd. Do you know what Ba'd means? Ba'd, where does it say that in the verse? This is an autistic reading of the Quran, not a holistic reading of the Quran.
Oh, wow.
So that obviously doesn't work, because if we're going to take a holistic reading of the Quran, then we have to, it's contradicting itself, because you take Daniel's interpretation of Surah 350, you take Daniel's interpretation of Surah 279. Daniel nowhere in this debate gives you a reasonable explanation of what Surah 568 is saying, what Surah 2946, what Surah 1094 is saying. He doesn't actually even try to address those. Yeah. So if you're taking a holistic approach, the Quran is hopelessly contradictory. If, and I mean only if, his interpretation of those select verses is right.
I also don't understand how autistic is the opposite of holistic.
I kind of want this to be inscribed on his gravestone. Just Daniel Haqiqatjou, holistic, not autistic, or something like this. Apparently that's the hill he wants to die on. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta find that place where he actually started saying, "I'm in a hostile environment." It was like crazy. Like people started yelling at him. Maybe I gotta find it here, but I do want to address this whole issue of him and going to Surah 3. This is one of his big arguments that he wanted to go to, which was in Surah 350, where Jesus is speaking in the Quran. Have you heard this one before, Avery, on any of your debates?
That what?
Surah 350, to get out of the Islamic dilemma.
No one's ever brought up 350 to get out of the Islamic dilemma.
I have no idea what he was even doing with that.
Yeah,
I have to be honest.
I couldn't believe it.
This was incredible. Here it is.
Apologists claim that the Quran confirming the Bible is a total validation of every word of the Bible, but there's one verse that completely destroys this argument.
One verse.
It's Quran 350, where Jesus speaks to the Jews and says, I, meaning Jesus, have come to confirm the truth of the Torah which preceded me and to make some things lawful to you which used to be forbidden. I have come to you with a sign from your Lord. Fear God and obey me. This verse is significant because it uses the same construction that the Islamic dilemma people cite, musaddiqan lima bayna yaday. Christian apologists mention every verse with musaddiqan lima bayna yaday, but they skip this one for some reason. They conveniently skip it because it destroys
We
their
skip
entire
it.
I love
Yeah.
that verse.
Didn't that verse
Yeah.
start off with Jesus saying that he confirms the Torah?
David, with-
Yes, I love that verse. I use it all the
Yeah,
time
me too.
when they try to say that the Torah in Jesus' time was corrupted. That's
This
chapter
is-
3 verse 50 says he came confirming that Torah.
Mhm.
You know,
fact-
along with chapter 5 verse 46. So it's like, bro, what?
A while
Yeah,
ago, I asked David to send me his list of all the Quran verses that he brings up for the Islamic dilemma. I will now check here for a second if this is one of the verses that he lists.
Now,
Yeah, here's the verse. And this is his argument. Woe to those who write the scriptures with their own hands, then say this is from Allah in order to exchange it. Oh, no, sorry, I'm at the wrong one. I'm thinking of a different one. I was going to get to that in a bit.
350.
350. I pulled up the wrong link there. I'll just put this up. So, and I will confirm the Torah revealed before me and legalize some of what has been forbidden to you. I have come to you with a sign from your Lord. So be mindful of Allah and obey me. And Daniel's basic argument was like, well, he's confirming the Torah, but he's abrogating or legalizing some things. So therefore, this is proof the Quran can come and change things. And like abrogate things apparently in the prior scriptures.
I think what he's kind of missed is abrogation isn't the problem here. It's things that can't be abrogated that are different. So the theology of God, like his nature, his attributes, cannot change.
Yeah.
But the Quran presents a different picture than what's found in the previous scriptures. But for some reason, he thinks he can make this analogous with like legal commands. And hence he's like, hey, look, you see, Jesus, he legalized some of the stuff. That means he changed it. That means that there are other authorities. But again, it doesn't help if, your previous scriptures talk about God being triune or talk about God being a father in a real spiritual sense. And then your scripture comes along and goes, no, actually, no, that's not true.
Was he also using this to argue like a total confirmation, like, Jesus confirms the Torah, but also changes some things in the Torah. So therefore, he's not confirming the whole Torah because he's changing some of it. Was that all?
Yeah.
Like, was that where he was getting at?
That's what he was trying to get at. Yeah, he was trying to say that, he confirms the Torah, but confirm, you're equivocating on confirm, David, because confirm can just be confirming the general aspects, not every single strict detail. Because look, Jesus confirms the Torah, but he changes some things and he makes some things that were forbidden to you legal. And that was his argument. Now David had a brilliant response to this because he just sort of blew this out of the water. And then I want to add a point to this. David had a great response, though.
3 minutes.
Thank you, James. So Daniel concluded with Surah 3, verse 50, saying that, well, Jesus said he confirmed the Torah between his hands, and yet he said he was coming to change things. Yeah, that's called abrogation in Islam. If you're going to say abrogation, you abrogate a verse. If that means the other verse had been corrupted, well, great. There are verses in the Quran that abrogate other verses, and therefore the Quran's been. Thank you, Daniel.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's why he that man. That's why he's that man, because that was quick. That was quick, man. Yeah, that's good.
But also, I mean, like that with Daniel's comparison to Surah 350, here's his main problem is the Quran does not do this same thing in Surah 547 to 48, Surah 568. It doesn't say things like, use the gospel, Christians, but I'm going to change some things for you. I'm going to legalize some things for you, and you'll know what that is with the Quran.
Right.
Allah doesn't do this maneuver that you see here, that what Daniel's saying here, with Christians in the Quran. He just says, use the gospel. You're meant to be different communities. Use that.
Yep.
You're good.
Yep.
So, Daniel actually is taking the context here and assuming that goes in Surah 5. So his whole argument falls flat when you see that. Like, it's not even a good comparison.
Yeah, that's bad. That's pretty bad. He shot himself in the foot with that one. That's if you're gonna say abrogation proves that the previous scripture is corrupted, the previous verse is corrupted, that's bye Quran. That's good.